feel it's kind of the same like 2016. The support out there, it's incredible. And it's just, you know, people see what's going on in the country and what kind of leadership they want. You know, they want prosperity, they want American dream coming back. You know?
Yeah, that is Melania Trump, who was on Fox this morning. And, you know, it's great to see her out and to hear from her. And a week before the election, she's talking about, look, people want what they had. They want what they had 4 years ago. Even you Florida Democrats, you've probably lived long enough to remember Trump as president of the United States. Things were pretty good. So people want that again.
Number 3.
My wife Lauren and I have 8 adopted children in our home right now. And when I go home every day and I look at those kids, I don't see 8 choices. I'm sorry, those are 8 lives. And yes, we need to protect our women. Yes, we need to protect our mothers, but we need to protect those children as well.
Wow, that was Tony Dungy, the former NFL coach of the Bucs and national spokesperson for All Pro Dad, joining the governor today at a press conference at the Clearwater Central Catholic High School to oppose the pro-abortion Amendment 4, and that was earlier today, and just a powerful message for people to hear. And listen, another week to go. More discussion on that's going to be coming up for sure.
Number 2.
After Kamala endorsed defunding the police, she bailed out rioters, looters, and murderers, took them right out of jail during the violent crimes in the United States. Remember, that was in Minnesota. Minneapolis was burning down. It was burning to the ground. I watched the CNN announcer say, this is a friendly group of people. And over his shoulder, the entire skyline was burning. I've never seen it. But that's the fake news. But violent crime in the United States is up 37%.
37%. Can you believe that? And that was Donald Trump today at Mar-a-Lago in the presser. Well, listen, you want people to be there and hear this because the media is not going to probably even mention those numbers. You know, how is anyone going to know unless he does a press conference? And it's the reason why people are starting to gravitate more and more to social media and places like Florida's Voice, because they know they'll get the truth. They know that this is where they can go to get the information, as opposed to all the alphabet media that's been out there for far too long, thinking they have a monopoly on everything. And guess what? You don't.
Number 1.
Of you to shout your own name. Do that. Because it's about all of us.
I can't do it. I don't know if that's the most cringiest thing that Kamala Harris has ever done, but they're all yelling her name, and then she tells everybody to say your own name, and everybody's like, that was just creepy. It's weird. It's just, there's a lot of different things.
Drew's top 5.
Good was not one of the things I don't know. You know, we were talking about this earlier, Big D. Like the cringiest, the top cringe. I mean, that was the top cringe of things that she didn't say, as opposed to like what you brought up, which was a great point earlier. Because there's the cringe of things that she has said, and then there's the cringe of the things that she doesn't say, like the laugh and stuff like that, right?
Right. As far as things she's done, this might be the top. But as far as things she's said, there's a whole nother list. If we have time for that another day, we'll get into it.
There's a whole list. We should make a list. Oh, man. Maybe election day? Do I do a top 5 Kamala list?
Yes, we do.
Oh, wow. All right. Nina, get to work. Back at the studio, start pulling all the funnies. I was gonna say we could do a whole week's. All right, let's just stop. Speaking of being funny, Donald Trump said something today, just a little while ago. I think it was about an hour ago. maybe less. He's at an event today, another event, because, he does multiple events. And he said something that I agree with wholeheartedly, that is like I don't want to say it's my MO. That's probably not a good way to put it. And I shouldn't admit to this, but I will anyway. Listen to what he said just a little while ago. I love this because I totally get where he's coming from. Here, listen.
I remember York easy to remember because I used to lift weights for about a week. Scared. Then I realized I don't want to do it. I realized I don't like it, Mike.
He was talking about, I used to lift weights for about a week, and then I realized that I don't want to do it. D, that's me. That is totally, I don't know if you work out. I mean, you look like you're in shape, but that is totally, like, who wants to lift weights? It hurts, man. It's painful. I don't want to lift weights. So
it's tasking.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
but it's
I don't
rewarding.
want to, yeah, well, I know. It's maybe because I haven't been rewarded enough after I do it. Like this just really hurts. I don't really like this. It's kind of painful. And then I'm waiting for something to pop. Like I'm waiting to look like, I don't know. I was going to say Arnold Schwarzenegger, but that's probably a bad example. But I'm waiting to look like one of those, the big buff guys. And all I look like is a guy leaning over who's in pain from lifting weights with a big belly. It doesn't help. It's just, I don't know. How long does it take? How long did it take you? Or you've been just lifting weights your whole life? Let's talk about D. It's D's life story.
No, not my whole life. It probably takes like 4 to 6 months to start seeing success.
Yeah, I don't have that kind of time for pain. I can't put myself in pain for 4 to 6 months waiting for something to pop. Look, I just can't. I can't do it. I'm not that guy. I'm like Trump. I'm like Trump. At least I will lift weights, and it's like, yeah, this is painful. I don't know. Well, I don't know why he stopped it. He probably stopped doing it because he was out making money, making business deals, doing things, doing stuff. Like it was, it's almost the way. Oh gosh, I probably shouldn't go down this road, but I'll go down this road because we live in Florida. It's Florida's voice, listening across the state. Some people can relate to this. We got a lot of golf courses in the state of Florida, all over the place. Beautiful golf courses, right? I can't tell you how many people, when I was growing up, would say things like, man, how do you spend 4 hours on a golf course? That's such a waste of time. Oh. I don't know. D, have you ever heard people say that? Like, that's just way too much time.
A lot of people say that, yeah, but they don't understand it until they go experience it.
Right. And then you play, and you watch. Have you seen videos of my son playing golf? He's doing pretty well. He's pretty good.
Back. He looks like he knows what he's doing.
Yes.
He looks like he knows what he's more.
Yeah, he's getting better and better. He's getting taller. If he shot up, he got tall fast, and then it was like awkward. Like things weren't working right. His swing and everything as he got taller. Now that he's comfortable in his body, and like he shot a 78 yesterday, and he shot a 76 the day before. That's pretty good for a 16-year-old. That's not
very
bad
good for a 16-year-old.
Yeah, so, I probably shouldn't have said that because now he's going to be out and he's going to play and he's going to shoot a 90. And he's going to be embarrassed that I said anything. But he's doing well. We're getting there, slowly but surely. And it's fun. It's great to watch. And that's what I do. I watch him play because, unlike Trump, I got to get better at the golf game and play golf, and I don't lift weights. All right, we can move on from this whole discussion now. All right, moving on. Tomorrow, go ahead and put up that graphic. For those that are interested in talking about, hearing about, discussing Amendment 3 and things that are going on with Amendment 3, tomorrow we are going to have Kim Rivers on this program. She's the CEO of True Leave, and we're going to talk about Amendment 3. I would love to get True Leave's position on what they think about Amendment 3, and as it says there, right there, health, freedom, or hype. So it's all there tomorrow at 4 o'clock. 4:06, I guess, is when, but tune in at 4. And we'll have her on. Looking forward to the discussion and getting her point of view on it and explaining my point of view on it. And we'll see how it goes. Should be a fun discussion between the two of us. That is Kim Rivers, the CEO of True Leave, who will be joining us tomorrow at 4 o'clock here on Florida's Voice. And we will be talking Amendment 3. So we'll get into it. And a lot to discuss as we get closer and closer, certainly, to Election Day, and with these amendments, where we're going to be, what is going to take place, what will we see? We were kind of talking about that off the air a little bit about what we might see next week after the election. Like, I can't believe we're a week away and we're going to know exactly what transpired. All the talk, all the hype, all the polls, everything will be done in a week. By the way, speaking of polling places, I'm looking at some of what they're doing in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. There's a line of people waiting to vote, and they're putting up signs at the end of the line, which isn't a whole lot of people, and saying it's the end of the line. Like, why are they doing that? Why do they have a spot where they're specifically saying, and it's early in the afternoon, like this was a few hours ago. Like, why did they do that? Yeah, there it is. The cops are shutting down the voting lines. And it's the third time that was discovered there in Pennsylvania. Like, they're just showing up and they put a sign that says the line ends here, but it's early in the day. Like, why are they stopping people? I don't know, odd stuff. Let's hope there's not too much. I was going to say, let's hope there's not too much of that. But yeah, unfortunately, there seems to be a lot of stuff that we got to keep an eye on when it comes to election integrity across the country. Something we talked about here earlier with Evan Power was the fact that, you look at what we've been able to do and able to accomplish here when it comes to the voting in the state of Florida, and how we get a lot of things right. People come here to the state. They've been coming to the state, moving to the state. Dee, what was the number after today? You said that earlier in the show. Republicans over Democrats. What was that number now?
1.1 million.
1.1 million now over Democrats. And good governance does that. Good governor does that. Great governor does that. The protections that were there during COVID, things that people on the outside see and want to be a part of. It's not just, look, it's the weather, it's the beaches, of course, across the state. I mean, you live here, you know what it's like. But there's more to it, obviously. And, the questions that you have to ask yourself, it's not rhetorical, there's an answer. Why is it that there are certain states that don't mimic what we do? Well, the answer is Democrats, right? I mean, that's what it is. If all the success, you have a state that can prove to you how to do things successfully, and you won't do them. The answer is Democrats. That's why Democrats have to be defeated at the polling place. See how that works?
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow. You sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I like a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older-adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council. Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
When the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/olderadults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. And in our family, we're used to getting involved, and I encourage you to do the same, especially when it comes to caring for your loved ones. When I think about Alzheimer's and the impact it had on my family, I recognize that losing a race isn't such a bad day after all. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
See some people almost end up underneath the golf cart. She did say she was trying to turn it on, didn't know how to operate it, and ended up crashing into tables full of people eating dinner. But we did all our field sobriety tests. We did all the testing that we need to do with our traffic and our DUI units, and the results came back that she was not intoxicated at the time.
Oh boy, then what was she? Anyway, that's a woman who injured people, multiple people. She crashed her golf cart into a crowded restaurant there in Jensen Beach. Yeah, multiple injuries. They've got video of it. And the surveillance video captured the golf cart squeezing its way up a ramp into a dining area and then slamming into tables. And that was the captain who was talking about what went down and saying that she didn't, wait a minute. So she didn't know how to drive I'm so confused. She didn't know how to drive the golf cart, but then she got on the cart and then she was driving the cart. And then the cart goes into the restaurant, but she doesn't know how to. And then they give her sobriety and DUI, and they check her out, and she's sober. So what else could it have been that would cause somebody to do something like that? I don't know. I'm not making any suggestions. I'm not putting anything out there, but yeah, that's not a good thing. So there was that story. Maybe we just move on. There's got to be what else do we have before we finish out the program today? Thanksgiving's on the way. And a lot of people are thinking about what they're going to be making. Obviously, you should be making turkey or ham, right? Unless, of course, you live in Britain, where they're saying they want people to cut meat and dairy consumption up by 50% to meet the latest net zero targets. Do you see why you don't want to follow the climate change people? The Climate Change Committee there in Britain said they want meat and dairy consumption cut by half by the year 2050. Isn't that enough for you to stop voting for Democrats? Because they're getting the ideas from these people over in Britain. I want to eat meat. I'm not cutting my meat. I don't want you telling me this because somehow you've got this idea that we're going to save the planet somehow by doing this, while other countries are just going to be like, yeah, we're not going to be cutting anything when it comes to meat. or stop using fossil fuels or anything like that. Oh, by the way, hey, this for a little added bonus. Ooh, a double transition. Okay. Up to $41 billion in World Bank climate finance. World Bank climate finance, $41 billion. That's with a B. Nearly 40% of all the climate funds dispersed by the bank over the past 7 years is unaccounted for. Yeah, they can't find it. They're saying it's poor record keeping. So they just don't know where your climate change dollars are going. Again, can I say that? 41 billion with a B. World Bank climate finance cash is unaccounted for. And they want more of it. They want you to cut consumption of beef, and they want you to stop using fossil fuels. And if you're going to use it, you got to give them cash, those carbon offset kind of things. And we'll make sure that the right thing is done with the money, which apparently must be going into people's pockets or not. I mean, it's not for sure. We don't know. We're just assuming that, because how else would you explain the poor record keeping of $41 billion? So you have that. And one other story that's at FLVoiceNews.com, Florida's Voice, that I love. Rick Scott and Marco Rubio push for year-round daylight savings time ahead of the clock change that's coming. Can we do this? Can we just get this done? I know it's a federal thing, but man, even for you Democrats, even for you lefties out there, you can't like daylight savings time. Isn't that enough to vote for Rick Scott? Come on. I mean, we could stop the daylight savings time nonsense. All right. This is Florida's Voice.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Some things on your ballot are complicated and some are simple, like Amendment 2, the right to fish and hunt. Amendment 2 is a bipartisan, common-sense measure supported by conservationists, environmentalists, and sportsmen as a humane way to manage Florida's wildlife, protect its natural resources, and promote environmental leadership. So whether you want to protect our environment or our traditions, Amendment 2 is for you. Remember, Amendment 2 is a bipartisan, common-sense measure supported by conservationists, environmentalists, and sportsmen as a humane way to manage Florida's wildlife, protect its natural resources, and promote environmental leadership. If you want to protect our environment or our traditions, Amendment 2 is for you. Paid political advertisement paid for by Vote Yes on Amendment 2, 2640A, Mitcham Drive, Tallahassee, Florida, 32308.
Hey, once again, thanks for joining us here on Florida's Voice. My name is Drew Steele. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Anytime you want to watch the program, at FL Voice News on Rumble, YouTube, X. And you can always go to drewsteele.com. Steele has 3 E's. Go there, and you can listen to the program anytime you want, 24/7.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.